When you win, keep your mouth shut. Don't let excitement make you announce things prematurely. Move silently until you are sure. OMG, absolutely. I freaking love this quote. Shout out to the author. I wish I knew who you were. And I hope that this video reaches who it needs to, because I wish I'd have knew this advice early on in life. Like, I used to be so excited to share the good things that was happening in my life, just sharing it with everyone, anyone who was wanted to listen. And unfortunately, at the time, I wasn't aware that everybody listening wasn't happy to hear the good news. Some people were silently jealous, envious, hating the fact that I received good news, and so I learned the hard way not to share things before they are fully processed, because I am now aware that there are people who don't want to see you win. And if you announce things prematurely, then they can, and most certainly will, plot and plan to stop and block you from receiving what it is that, that good news, and it happens all the time, where, you're like, for instance, for me, like, a lot of the times I would share, like, oh, I have this interview, or um, something where the plan wasn't fully there yet. So, like, for instance, oh, I have an interview at this place. Oh, I really hope I get it, And I'm sharing this with, like, certain family. And then I'm like, oh, well, the interview went great. Like, and now they're keeping tabs on me. Well, how'd the interview go? It went really great. I really hope I get it. And then, like, days or weeks later, you never hear back from the job, or I would receive, oh, I'm sorry, we moved on to better qualified candidates, But the interview went really well, So, like, I'm not saying that every time that I had an interview, I attribute that to somebody trying to block me or something, but I did notice a pattern of when I would share things prematurely with certain family over the years, and over time, like, I would notice how certain things would not work out, me speaking up about it. But whenever I was quiet about certain things, or I wouldn't share my input, then there's nowhere for them to attack, for them to plot, so, and this is sad because, I used to be around family who would just talk crazy crap on everybody, and instead of trying to help find a solution, you're just dogging their character out and making them seem like they're terrible, and then you're trying to make it seem like you're so good. So, guys, just be careful with, sharing things, sharing your plans. And even when you do receive the good news, even after the good news has been um, finalized, once you're completely sure, once it's okay to share, still be careful with news you share with people. We can just learn to appreciate our wins in silence, because that is protection. People can't attack or steal what they don't know, and sometimes we put targets on our backs when we speak too much. I don't know if you guys heard of that saying, but loose lips sink ships. You end up, sometimes we end up telling on ourselves and blocking our own stuff. I used to do that so much, but now I'm very, very careful and cautious of what I say when I say it. I'm so tight-lipped now. It's ridiculous, but it's for the best, because even with, like, when you build a connection with God, with Source, you're going to be, as you continue to pass those tests And once, God feels like God can trust you, you're going to be getting information communicated to you. And it's very crucial that you keep that to yourself. You don't go out sharing it to the world. Things that your relationship with God should be private, so the information that you speak to God and the information you receive from God should be kept just to yourself. I mean, some things you can share with others to help them on their walk, but it should really be kept private, and that's just to protect yourself. Always, always, always remember, privacy is your protection, because what people don't know, they can't attack. And sadly, we live in a world where people want to hate and just steal and kill and try to destroy. Okay, so please, guys, next time you win or next time you receive good news, just keep it on a hush, and be cautious of who you share that information with. Sometimes it's just best to just enjoy on your own. And I just, it's it's just better that way. You're protecting yourself from anybody trying to stop or block what you're meant to receive. Okay, but I do really enjoy talking with you guys. So if you're new, I hope you stick around and subscribe, because I'd love to have you as a part of my tribe. And if you are returning, y'all know how we do over here. Make sure you comment and like the video. I will see y'all later. Bye.